Published, 1704 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 9th of April 2018. Updated, 1704 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 9th of April 2018. Pressure was mounting on former Energy Minister Lord Barker last night over his role as chairman of a Russian firm banned from dealings with the U.S. due to its links with the Kremlin. As Russian stocks were hammered and the ruble fell amid concern over U.S. sanctions and Russia's role in the conflict in Syria, critics said Barker should consider his position at the helm of energy firm EN. The company and its owner, Russian oligarch Oleg Deripaska, were slapped with sanctions by the U.S. on Friday as Donald Trump sought to punish Russia for malign activity around the globe. Out in the cold, David Cameron and Lord Barker on a trip to the ArcticThe US noted that Deripaska, who is said to be a member of Russian President Vladimir Putin's inner circle, has been investigated for money laundering and accused of bribing a government official, ordering the murder of a businessman and having links to organized crime. EN shares, which are listed in London, fell 42% yesterday, taking losses since Friday to 54%. Deripaska, 50, is nursing a paper loss of around £2 billion since the sanctions against him and other oligarchs were announced. Several Russian firms were caught in yesterday's sell-off. Chelsea FC owner Roman Abramovich was left nursing a paper loss of around £309 million as shares in his mining firm Evraz fell 14.5%, or 65.1p, to 385.4p, on fears it could also be hit by sanctions. Shares in aluminium group Rusal, owned by EN, also fell 42% in Hong Kong. The main index in Moscow sank more than 11% and the ruble stumbled 4% against the dollar. The sell-off wiped £11.5 billion off the fortunes of Russia's richest tycoons. Vadim Budavragim, a money manager at Capital Asset Management in Moscow, told Bloomberg, investors are afraid that now any Russian company is at risk of sanctions. Russian shares are seen as toxic assets. Barker, 52, who served under David Cameron, has been chairman of EN since October, when he was hired in an attempt to reassure the city about the firm ahead of its London flotation. He remained in his post last night even after two other board members quit and the firm admitted the sanctions were highly likely to damage the business. Anti-corruption watchdog Transparency International said it would raise some eyebrows in Parliament if a member's declared interest in a debate is for an organisation subject to sanctions by a key ally. Labour MP John Speller said, if the international community thinks it is serious enough to be considering sanctions, then clearly individuals involved in Parliament should review their position in the light of that. Deripaska was accused by the US of acting or purporting to act directly or indirectly on behalf of the Russian government. Opposing the sanctions, the U.S. cited Russian actions in the Ukraine, support for Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad, and attempts to subvert Western democracies. Barker was unavailable for comment. Deripaska has previously denied wrongdoing and described the sanctions as groundless, ridiculous and absurd. The ousted boss of the London Stock Exchange has got a job working for a Russian company with ties to the Kremlin. Xavier Rolle has taken up a non-executive director role at Moscow-based Phosagro, Europe's largest producer of phosphate fertilizers. It is the wine-loving Frenchman's first position after he was forced out of the LSE in November following a boardroom battle, and will give him close links to the Russian elite. Phosagro's vice chairman is Andrei Juryev, named earlier this year on a U.S. government list of tycoons close to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Juryev, 58, owns Highgate's Wittenhurst, London's second-largest house after Buckingham Palace.